goodness and blessing. May we have long life, peace and prosperity. May the Lord bring us goodness and blessing.
This week we have the last parsha we read in Shabbos from the Torah, the last parsha of the four parshas Chachamim said to read in the month of Adar, and it's always connected before it's the Shabbos Mevorchim, the Shabbos that we bless, either Shabbos Mevorchim or the Shabbos of Rosh Chodesh itself. We bless the coming of the Rosh Chodesh Nisan. When Rosh Chodesh Nisan falls on Shabbos, it's together with Rosh Chodesh Nisan. Because what's written in this parsha, the parsha begins Hachodesh Lachem Rosh Chodesh. This month, Nisan, that you came out of Egypt, this will be the first of the months. This month will be yours. It's the first of the month of all the months. We count the months from Yetzias Mitzrayim, even though we say Rosh Hashanah. And a year is composed of 12 months, but somehow or other we have this combination. The year begins in Tishrei, but the first month is Nisan. But the word month, Emes, here is written that Am Yisrael, it says in Chazal, is a remez here, Am Yisrael counts according to the moon. We have months. The Goyim, they also made months. They took it from us. How many days is there in a month of the solar year? I'd like to ask you. If you count according to the sun, is there a concept of a month? In other words, what by the Goyim they have 30 days, 31 days, 12 months of the year, this is all arbitrary. We have a month because the definition of a month is the full revolution of the moon around the earth, that it takes 20, and by the way, it's one of the moifs of the Torah, it takes 29, the Chazal tell us, and today they say with the computers they figured it out exactly, and there's no way Chacham could have known it. The Gemara says to the detail, how long is the revolution of the moon around the earth? So the Gemara says it's exactly 29 days, 12 hours, and 793 parts of 1,080 of an hour. You know how precise that is? Take the hour is divided up in Chazal, Tat Raf Rigay Shor. The hour is divided up into 1,080 parts, which is a few seconds. I mean, if you make it, because there's 60 minutes an hour, 1,080, so it's like about 3 seconds. And Chazal get down to the seconds. The revolution of the sun, of the moon around the earth, Chav Tes Yomim, Yud Beis Shois, Tov Shin Tzad Gimel Chalokim. It means 29 days, 12 hours, and 793 parts of 1,080. They say that today, with the computers, they figured out the revolution to such an exactitude. How 2,000 years ago could the Chachamim have known this? This is a meifus. Meifus. It's only because the Chachamim were makabel, they received ish mipi ish from Moshe Sinai. There's no other way the Chacham could know it. How long is the moon, the revelation of the moon? And that's why, since we only don't have hours in a month, so we have some months which are chasa, 29 days, and some months which are 30 days, because to be mashna. And why is a month in Hebrew called a month? Hachodesh Lachem. What's the definition? Chodesh is a month, but the word Chodesh in Hebrew comes from another word. Which word does it remind you of, the word Chodesh?
Renewal.
Renewal, correct. Why? Because the sun is every day the same. He doesn't change how he looks. He doesn't get smaller in our view. The moon doesn't get smaller either. But in our view, it disappears, it's small, it's big. And Am Yisrael is compared to the moon. They go through stages, we count to the moon. When do we have our main Yom Tovim? Which are the main Yom Tovim, the long Yom Tovim, which we have 2 Yom Tovim in the year?
Full moon,
Pesach and Sukkot, and both of them 15th of the month, because the 15th of the month is the full moon. This represents when Am Yisrael is in the state of Shleimut, of perfection, the full moon. The Chisoron Halavona, the reduction of the moon, this represents the Golus, the exile. All right, but so let's go back again. Hachodesh Lachem. So we have. I'm going to say here 3 explanations of Hachodesh Lachem. The Chazal say Hachodesh Lachem, that there's a mitzvah given over to Klal Yisrael. That what? That the months, who fixes the first day of the month? The Beis Din could fix the first day of the month as the 30th day of the moon of the month before, or if they didn't fix it, then the 31st was the next. And as we have a month that's 29 and 30 today, it goes automatic because the Chachamim fixed the calendar. But in the time of the Beis Hamikdash, Sanhedrin, they would have to come witnesses and say, witness that they saw a new moon, and the Beis Din would say Mekudash. They would fix Rosh Chodesh. And according to the Chachamim fixed the Rosh Chodesh, so the date of the holiday would be fixed. And so it comes that in Chutz La'aretz, why do we have in Chutz La'aretz 2 days Yontif, in Eretz Yisrael 1 day Yontif? Because those people which were far away from Eretz Yisrael, they didn't know when the Chachamim fixed the first day of the month. So they didn't know if the last month was 29 days, if the last month was 30 days. So they had a suffix, they had a doubt when to make Yontif. And so it came that they had to keep 2 days Yontif out of doubt. So Hachodesh Lachem says that the fixing of all the holidays, the days and everything, what's the day of the month, and therefore all the halachas is dependent on Beis Din. That's Hachodesh. Hachodesh Lachem, the renewal of the month, what's counted the first day of the month? Lachem, it's given over to you. That's the pshat according to Chazal. There's a mitzvah here. A mitzvah, but this mitzvah is called not Kiddush Levana, where we make a bracha of the moon, but it's called, what's this mitzvah called? Kiddush HaChodesh. That the Chachamim fix the first day of the month. Now, let's take another pshat. So that's according to Torah Shabbal Peh. Torah Shabbal Peh is written here. The first mitzvah which was given to Klal Yisrael, that fixing of the calendar depends on Sanhedrin and the Chacham. But now, the simple meaning of the word, Hachodesh Lachem, says the Sefarnu, he says, from now on, your time is yours. Chodesh is a block of time. We count time in terms of months and years. HaChodesh Hazeh, but from this month of Nisan, your time will belong to you. It's yours. Means the meaning, the gift. What is the gift of time? Time is potential. Time is the potential for a person to materialize his free will. It's the gift of free will. Explains the Sephar. Because a slave, his time is not his. His time belongs to his master. You were subjugated in Egypt. And if you were subjugated in Egypt, so your time wasn't yours. You couldn't do it. You had to serve your master. You couldn't fulfill your own purpose in life. From now on, you will be freedom. In other words, Hachodesh Lachem expresses the concept of freedom. What is freedom? The ability to make choices. When can I make choices? If I have the freedom to choose. I'm not subjugated. My choices are not pre-made for me by a master. So this is the ability to use my free will. I give from you. This is the expression of the freedom of it. When we say on Chag Pesach, Zman Chelu Seinu, the time of our freedom means we were given the ability to fulfill our purpose in life. Now let's go. Let's see how these things are connected together. There's a third pshat. Now let's go on to a third pshat in Hachodesh Lachem. If we say that Hachodesh Lachem, the word Chodesh comes from the word Chadash, that means the gift of renewal is given to you to Klal Yisrael. Constant renewal. This needs an explanation. Hachodesh Lachem, renewal. One of the Meforshim points out that if you notice the last letters of Hachodesh Lachem, it makes a very famous name in the Torah. Hachodesh Hazeh, not in order. Hachodesh, what is the last letter? Shin, Hazeh, Hey, Lachem, Mem. It's a very famous name. 3 letters. Moshe. It's not a coincidence that it's there. If it's there, it's there. It's there for a reason. Moshe. So let's explain. Moshe gave us the Torah, and the Torah gave us the gift, gave us the Chachma, the teaches us how to make use of the gift of free will and time that Hashem gave us. Without the Torah, we are blind. We don't know how to use the gift of life. We don't know what to do. On every minute, there's a mitzvah in the Torah how to behave. That means the gift of free will and Torah's Moshe are interconnected together. What does this have to do with renewal? So let's ask a kasha. We have a posuk in Kehelis. Ein kol chodosh tachas hashemesh. There is nothing new under the sun. So, on the other hand, we all daven today. We said a different thing in davening. What did we say in davening? In davening we say in by Yotzer Oyer, we have in the bracha at the end, we say Hachodesh Lachem b'chol yoyim tamid Masei Bereishis, that Hashem renews Masei Bereishis every minute. So there is Chodosh. So I have a contradiction. We have a problem. How do we solve these two conflicting statements? So let's go back again. The whole world is, what does it mean under the sun? And Chachamim come and say a Chiddush. You know what Chachamim say? Lemata tachas hashemesh. There's another pasuk. My Yisrael la'adam. There's nothing left over to a person. My Yisrael, he has no plus. La'adam b'chol amolei. It's one of the first verses in Kehelis. My Yisrael la'adam b'chol amolei shem yamol tachas hashemesh. What plus? What's left over to a person from all the efforts he puts in under the sun? Kam chachamim and say l'mala me'ashemesh. Above the sun, there is left over something. Yesh Yisrael. Ma'ala me'ashemesh yesh Yisrael is a plus. Now let's see. We live in this world. The definition of this world is called an olam oiver. Chachamim call this world olam oiver. What does it mean, olam oiver? A femoral world, a temporary world, a passing world. Avor is the past. It's tremoral, it's finite. Everything has an end in this world. This world is the opposite of eternity. Everything has its time, and the time is over, it changes. It's a changing world and it's over. Olam oiver, that means, what's the main world? The world is under the sun. The sun represents, like we count years, like that's right. Count years. Tachas Hashemesh means the world is under time. Time, it's under the dimension of time. Everything has a beginning and has an end. It's under time. It's a passing world. But the Torah and mitzvahs, when a person uses his free will, one of the definitions of the Ribbono Shel Olam, in the lush language of the Kabbalist of the Zohar, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is called, how they call HaKadosh Baruch Hu, by the way, the name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu means as well, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. What does this name mean? The one who's separated. Doesn't apply to him the rules of this world. Kodesh, the word Kodesh in Hebrew means nivdal, separated. It's a different strata, a different dimension. He's nivdal, he's separated from all dimensions, finite dimensions of this world. Baruch Hu, may he be blessed. Then how is he called in the language of the Kabbalist? Ein Sof. Ein Sof. It doesn't have a beginning either, but we can't imagine what it means the beginning. So it says Ein Sof. What does Ein Sof mean? He doesn't have an end.
Infinite.
What? Infinite. Not finite. Ein, not finite. And you wanted to see something interesting? Something interesting, but this is a my Yetzirah in Gematria. We open up the davening in the morning with a tefillah expressing that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is master of the world. What's the name of this tefillah? Right after Matayim. Adon Olam. What is the Gematria of Adon? He's the master. How much is it? Adon. Aleph, Dalet, Vav. Well, Dalet, Vav is 10. It's 4 and 6, 10. And 1 is 11. With a Nun is 50. So together it's how much? 61. 61. 61. Adon. Ein. Aleph, Yud, Nun. Aleph, Yud, Nun. 61. Let's go on. Olam. This world is a finite world. How much is Olam? Ayin and Alam, 70 and 30 is 100, with the 6 of the Vav. So it's 106 with the Mem. How much is it? 146. Sof. Samach is
Samach
60,
is 60.
Pei is 80, 80 and 60 is 140, 146. Adon Olam Ein Sof. It's fascinating. It's not like gematria. You know, there's a siddur, there was a great Rav called Rav Yaakov Emden, and in this siddur he writes this. And you know what the gematria together of Ein Sof is? Now put the two things together, we're not finished. Let's go on. The gematria of Ein Sof. In other words, put the 146 together with the 61.
Oh,
What does it come to?
207.
207. You know what 207 is?
No.
Oyer. Aleph, light.
Oh!
Aleph, Vav, Resh, Torah, oyer. The Torah is oyer because then the Torah teaches us how to subjugate our will to the Ein Sof. And in anything, with the oyer of the Bria, the oyer of Olam Haba is Ein Sof. We are Zeicha, we merit the oyer of light, the light of the eternity, through subjugating our will to the will of the Torah. When we express in our behavior that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is Adon Olam, that He's master of the world, we transcend the finite, the self of this world, the concealment of the light in this world, and we connect with the oyer, with the light of Ein Sof, the eternal light. The whole hashkafa in these two words, the whole hashkafa of our Torah is expressed, and that's the meaning of, that's the internal meaning of Hachodesh Lachem. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says to Klal Yisrael through Moshe, now you leave Mitzrayim. The word Mitzrayim itself is an interesting concept. It reminds us of another word, Mitzrayim. Mitzrayim, what is the, if you write, you know that the Torah is written without vowels. So the word Mitzrayim really comes from another, you could read it something else, like Min HaMeitzah Karasi Kor. What is a Meitzah? A Meitzah is a gvul, is a boundary. Boundary.
Like
So,
a fortress?
no, a boundary. A boundary. Where's the Meitzah? Where does this field end and the new field begin? The two owners that own a field. The Meitzah is the boundary between the two fields. It's called Meitzah.
Oh.
Meitzah. Why is it sorrow? Why is suffering called a Meitzah? Because suffering puts certain boundaries on a person. He limits him. That's what the suffering is. He can't fulfill his purpose when he has suffering. He's limited. He's pushed. He's squeezed in. What?
And the Neshama suffers in the body.
Also, the guf, Olam Hazeh is a meitzah to the neshama, and the neshama calls out Min HaMeitzah Karasi Ka, from the meitzah of the guf, Anani B'Merchav Ka. Let me express my neshama, and not let my guf put out the light of my neshama. That's an understanding in this verse. Min HaMeitzah Karasi Ka, Anani B'Merchav, to pull out. Anyway, so the Yitzias Mitzrayim. What is Yitzias Mitzrayim? And once a Kabbalist said to me something interesting, by the way, but I don't want to bother you too much with numbers. But if somebody likes numbers, the concept of a finite, of a number, how's a number called in Hebrew?
Mispar.
Mispar. Mispar is bigmatria. This you write, you try it out afterwards, it'll take too long. Mispar is bigmatria 380, and that is exactly the same gematria as Mitzrayim. On the other hand, we have the Torah's emes. If you infinite, you spoke about infinite, right? Ein Sof, infinite in Hebrew you'd say Ein Mispar. If you add to the 380 Ein Mispar, another 61, 380 and 61 will come to, how much will come to? I'll tell you what it will come to. It will come to 441, and that's emes. The truth is Kayim La'ad. Udvocha emes v'Kayim La'ad. The whole concept of the Torah is expressed in the words of the Torah.
And they say the truth will make you free.
So let's go back again. Yitzias Mitzrayim. So Mitzrayim we were given the freedom to make choices. And those choices, to subjugate our will to the will of the Creator, to make HaKadosh Baruch Hu Adon Olam. And through this, like the Creator's Ein Sof, when a person is given, every life is called, one of the names of this world is called in this book. I don't know if you ever opened it. I probably did. From the Mesilas Yesharim. You heard this book, Mesilas Yesharim? Yeah, very good. Oh, you have to go to yeshiva to learn this book, Mesilas Yesharim. Come to a yeshiva, even some an option. Mesilas Yesharim. So Mesilas Yesharim, the first parak, he calls this world. He gives another name to this world. How does he call this world? You know how he calls this world? This world is Olam, the world of. That's true. It has another name. He doesn't call it there Olam HaSheker. He calls it there Olam. Anybody know? Olam HaNisoyon. This is the world of tests. Everything in this life is a test. But the word nisayon reminds us in Hebrew, nasata li'arecha neslis naises. The word nisayon reminds us of another word. The first two letters of nisayon, what does it make?
Yes.
Nes. Oh, now we're getting it. The teva, now let's see. The teva is nature. In nature, there is nothing new in nature. Nature repeats itself. The laws of nature were established in the 6 days of creation. And that's why they're predetermined. You can, as long as the nature runs its course, it's repeated. There is nothing new. Well, let's get back to the statement. Ein kol chodosh tachas hashemesh. If a person, Hachodesh Baruch Hu, is decided to be manhig this world according to nature, but to Klal Yisrael, the kiyum of Klal Yisrael is lamala min hateva, and we know it. If the Klal Yisrael would be guarded according to the laws of nature, we would have long ago disappeared from this world. Like we say on the night of the Seder, the Hisham de la Vaseinu Velanu, Hashem supernaturally guards us. We're surrounded with enemies, and they all want to destroy us, and we're still here. The ones that want to destroy us are no longer here. This is Nes. This is a Nes. So Nes is something new, something directly decreed from Hashem. Nes defies, the concept of Nes defies the laws of nature. This is the meaning. So now let's go back. Hachodesh Lachem. I am giving you the gift of miracle, the gift of newness, of renewal. You will not be subjected to the laws of nature. Why will Klal Yisrael not be subjected to the laws of nature? Because Hashem is infinite, and they go against their nature. When a person has held, now let's connect it together. It says like this. Let me tell you. Let's learn together Masechet Avot for a minute. We have a parak in Masechet Avot, and it speaks a lot of things about the number 10. Let's see. Ba'asora ma'amorot nivra olam. The world was created with 10 statements. Ba'asora nisyonot, in 10 tests, nisnasa Avraham Avinu. Then Hashem brought 10 plagues on Mitzrayim. And then Hashem gave to Am Yisrael 10 commandments. Aseres Adibus. This goes one after the other. Asora ma'imoros, the 10 statements of creation. This is nature that repeats itself. Then Hashem took Avraham Avinu, who had to be the father of Klal Yisrael. He took him out of the laws of nature. He gave him opportunity to go out of the laws. How? Asora nisyonis. What is a nisoyan? In a nisoyan, the person is subjected to nature pulling him in one direction, and he has to go against nature and against his own nature to do the will of Hashem. So when a person goes against his nature, that's a nes, because it's against nature. And the midah keneged midah, the measure for midah v'nisayon, is the hanhoga, the way of Hashem to deal above nature. If the person puts himself in a state of above nature, then he takes himself out of the nature. So now let's put it together. So Asora Makos of Mitzrayim, which these were the changing of the 10 statements of creation. These showed that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, they were chidushim, they were chadash. They were not the tachas hashemesh. They were above the sun. They were above time. So these asora makis. How was Am Yisrael zoicha? In which merit? In the schus of the asora nisyonis, in the merit of the 10 tests of Avraham Avinu, where he went against his nature, he gave over to Klal Yisrael this capacity, and Hashem showed that he's in control of the world. That's chadash, and this hanhoga through the Torah is given to us. Hachodesh Lachem. So we connected two things, but we still have to connect a third thing. We connected the gift of free will together with renewal. But what does it have to do with the mitzvah of Kiddush HaChodesh? But let's think for a minute. We call this mitzvah Kiddush HaChodesh. That means in the eyes of Chazal, time is not a theoretical construct. We have to know that. Time, by the Goyim, one can say like this, you can say it's an argument between Chachmi Yisrael and Chachmi Yisrael. By the Goyim, time doesn't exist. Is time in existence? As much as matter exists, time exists. Time is just a theoretical construct It's an abstract intellectual concept for man to measure movement and matter. But it's not an entity in itself. It's just a way. If this, how long it will take for this to do this, for this change, that's time. If there's no change, we don't have time. Time is something. It's a concept. But in the eyes of Chazal, time we can't understand it because we live in a world of time. Time is a creation. It's an entity. The Gra says, the Goy Mivuna says, the Gemara says, like we know, Chazal, the world was created in 10 statements. The Gemara asks a kasha. It only says in Pashas Bereshis Vayoyim 9 times. Says the Gemara, Bereshis Nami Maimu. Bereshis Barakim is a Maimu. What was created with Bereshis? In the beginning, Hashem created the sun and the moon and the heaven and the earth. What was created? So the Gra says, Bereshis Barakim is the creation of time itself. The first Maimu, the most Geshem Dak, the most finest element, entity beyond Hashem is time. We call Hashem, the name of Hashem, Yud-Kei Vav-Kei. What does it mean, Yud-Kei Vav-Kei? Yud-Kei Vav-Kei means Hoyo, Hoyver, the year. What does it mean? He's beyond time. He's past, present, and future all at once. Meaning, he transcends time. The beginning of the Olam, of the concealment of Hashem, the beginning of creation is time. Every mitzvah brings Klal Yisrael above time. Now, just like you could be, we have a concept of a korban, right? Somebody takes the Ram, somebody takes 8 Bavonim, and he says, Hachodesh Lachem, so it's sanctified. So, it becomes Kodesh, you're not allowed to use it for a different way. In the same way, the Torah writes, he sanctified the Shabbos. And if a person desecrates the Shabbos, he desecrates the Kedusha. It's like taking a korban and using it for his own purposes. That means time. Like there's a behemoth that's Kodesh, there's an animal sanctified, there's time sanctified. Who sanctifies the time of Yontif? So we have the Gemara in Beitza says, Baruch Atah Hashem, how do we say? What happens when it's Shabbos? When it's Shabbos and Yontif together, so how do we say? It's very interesting. Baruch Atah Hashem, blessed be you Hashem, Mekadesh HaShabbos, who sanctified the Shabbos? Who sanctifies the time? The Am Yisrael. When the Sanhedrin fixed the day of the month, the Rosh Chodesh, the Yontif depends on what the Sanhedrin fixed. So who's Mekadesh the Yontif? The decision of Sanhedrin. And that's the pshat what we say in the Bracha, Mekadesh Yisrael Azmanim. So the mitzvah of Kiddush HaChodesh means that Klal Hashem gave the sanctification of time over to Klal Yisrael. Klal Yisrael is Mekadesh the Zman. They sanctify the time. Now, who can sanctify something? Only somebody that he is a bailut, that he is a master of that. I can't sanctify something which is not mine. Ish ki yakdish is beislei, ma beislei shalai. Avkol. If Am Yisrael sanctifies time, that means HaKadosh Baruch Hu made Am Yisrael a master over time. So now let's take it all together. So that means, how could they be a master over time? Only if they transcend time. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu lifted up Am Yisrael. Hachodesh Lachem means he took them out of the system of time. He transcended, he brought them up to himself, to a level beyond time. He gave us the mitzvah of Kiddush HaChodesh. This is the freedom. He gave us the gift of free will to subjugate ourselves to Teres Moshe. And we subjugate ourselves to Teres Moshe, we become attached to the Ein Sof, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to the Yorav Ein Sof. And through this, we are the Mailim and Azman. And we're Kaddish this man. We have the mitzvah of Kiddush HaChodesh. And all this, our time is running out. All this is expressed in the mitzvah of matzah. Because the Chachamim explain what is the Isa Chametz. How do we come to Chametz? Chametz means, what is Chametz? How do you measure something Chametz? Well, let's see. How long was it? 18 minutes. Time. It's a measure of time. It's Chametz because it fell under the measure of time. Matzah represents a bread above the measure of time. Kedushas Yisrael is that we are Netzach Yisrael, Am Hachan, Am Oy David Chai, Oy Am Yisrael Chai. We are Am HaNetzach. We were given a Netzach. Hachodesh Lachem means I give you the matana of infinite. I give you through your free will, and you can become attached to the Ein Sof. And you can be like the HaKadosh Baruch Hu Ein Sof. I make you ki chelek Hashem Amoy. Like HaKadosh Baruch Hu is Ein Sof, chelek Hashem Amoy. You be a chelek of me. through Yetzias Mitzrayim, He lifted us above by entering the Malchus of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We become part of the Malchus of HaKadosh Baruch Hu of Ein Sof, of infiniteness. This is Pashas Hachodesh, the introduction to the mitzvahs of Pesach, and the holiday of Pesach. With a little bit we spoke about that, and that's in different words, Yetzias Mitzrayim, to go out of the boundaries, to transcend time and space.
Hachodesh Lachem, Kol Tagmuloi Yolo,
Dorai Lashem Mashalevi, Nekdano Lecholamoy, Yahweh Yehine Yashem Hamo.